You did 3 million, everything's great. You realize, holy crap, cash flow wise, we're out. We're going to have to scale back. Let's just drop back to 1 million for a while and chill. You can't. Here's why.
A, you have to know how to plan for it. B, you have to know how to play chess. And you have to know how to play chess very well. More money doesn't mean more money.
Oh, hell no.
And more money means less money. Big growth does not mean more money. What's the number one marketing principle that worked 20 years ago and still works today?
Yeah, it's one that gets ignored a lot. It's Welcome back to the Trainwreck Show. I'm Perry Belcher, your host, the unstoppable force of sales, marketing, and AI mastery, wizardry, geekery, along with the queen, the wizard of the Wizard of Oz was nice. It was the Wicked Witch of the West. I always get confused. The Wizard of Oz, Emma Rainville, the unstoppable force of constantly telling me no to all of my genius ideas. But anyway, she's good to have around every now and then. She keeps me out of trouble.
Every once in a while.
She keeps me out of trouble. Welcome back, y'all. Emma, what do we got today for the show?
Actually, so we've gotten recently a lot of questions in on
That was really very nice. We've never started one of these quite that nice. I need to give you the finger or something before we
I think
go.
we're exhausted from all of the travel and the floods in Texas.
It might be.
You know.
I want to give her some props, by the way, which I normally don't do, especially to her face. We just got back from Asia. We were there for 3 weeks. Emma ran through almost 1,000 resumes, interviewed 199 people to hire 299 people to hire 32 people in our Philippines office. And these people are all running multiple AI tools. So they're doing the work of somewhere between a 600 and 800 person team. And she did all that within a matter of about 10 days with help from a couple of folks and did just a terrific job. We got some brilliant new people, and my hat's off to you for that one. I'll give you credit for one thing since I've known you.
You can always fire me. You can always say I'm done paying your invoice.
Am I paying an invoice to you? I never knew.
I prove it every single month.
I never knew I was paying you.
And all the travel.
All right.
Anyway, we decided for a few episodes that we've gotten flooded with questions over the past few months, and we've never really addressed them.
Okay.
And so we decided to take a few episodes and literally just pull out your best questions, our viewers. And Apple Podcasts, by the way, you guys are just blowing us up over there, so thanks for that. I pulled a bunch of questions off, and we actually segmented it out for a few episodes. I wanted to start with, and I really love this one because I'm excited because, you know, most of us haven't been in the game for 20 years.
Most of us haven't been alive that long.
Most of us
This is an old man question, I can tell.
Haven't been in the game for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Myself included. And so I love this question. What's the number one marketing principle that worked 20 years ago and still works today completely unchanged?
Yeah. It's who are you selling to?
You talk about that a lot.
Most people start with what they're selling, how they're going to sell it, what their copy's going to be like, and all that. The late, great Gary Halbert said 7% of any successful campaign is in the audience that you're delivering it to. So we talk about this a lot. I see a lot of people that go, well, I copied their thing and their thing's working, but it's not working for me. You don't know what pond they're fishing in. You don't know what pond that person's fishing in. So if you think about it, the bait that you're using, if you're in salt water and you're using freshwater bait, it don't work, and vice versa, right? So really nailing down who your customer avatar is and really asking, you know, the questions are kind of overused, but they're really good questions. What keeps them awake at night? What are they worried about at 2:00 in the morning? And what's the dream, the nirvana that's so good, they want it so bad, they won't even let themselves think about it because they want to be so disappointed if they don't get it. If you can figure those two things out about your audience and really nail it, and it's kind of easy to do it now. It used to be back in the day, Albert and all that, you kind of had to guess, or you got on the phone, you called people and you found out. Now you go to freaking Reddit. You can read everybody's pain points in Reddit. You can read everybody's pain points in Quora. You can read everybody's pain points in Facebook groups. So it's very, very easy to gather marketing intelligence. And you can also get their dreams. But I'll tell you, you said one, but I'll give you a second one.
Before we move on to the second one, I just want to give you a little bit of a shift to answer for me. Because as an operator, what I see a little bit too often is I come in and I've got a business owner who created a product for an avatar that he believes would, or she believes would buy the product. And it turns out that that is not who's actually in need of or buying the product.
Right.
So what I'd love for you to just walk through, because this is great. It worked 20 years ago, works today, makes sense. But I want you to walk through for people, and then you can give the number 2 of how to make sure that the avatar that you created for the product when you created it actually aligns with your current buyer. Because this is a big problem that I see all the time. Oh, well, I'm selling, and I went from 1 sale to 10 sales, from 10 sales to 100 sales, but now I can't move past. And it's because they're not speaking to their true avatar. How do they know who their actual buyers are? How do they confirm that?
Yeah, that's an extraordinarily good question.
For a change.
Yeah, and for the most part, in the past, you didn't know.
Right.
And the worst thing in the world is to launch a campaign and make some sales. Because you caught a subset, but you didn't hit it right between the eyes. And when you hit one right between the eyes and you know exactly who your audience is, you're 60, 70% of the way home. Right. When you know who they are and you know their pain points, you're 60, 70% home.
That almost never happens, though, on version 1 of any product that anyone just delivers.
But it could. And I'll tell you how I would do it today. I always go to Amazon. I read the poorest reviews on books and products. I find out what people don't like. But today, what you can do that's really interesting is you can screenshot those reviews. You can screenshot that product. You can screenshot those Reddit posts. You can screenshot. When you see a lot of people complaining about the same thing, and you see that posted over and over again, and people giving them answers that they're not satisfied with, that aren't working. Hey, I already tried that. That didn't work either. That's gold. You're finding gold there. But you can mine all that yourself. You can take all that over to AI, drop it into, we have an avatar creation GPT that I think do we give it away here?
It absolutely is in Trainwreck Show.
It's in Trainwreck Show. If you drop those screenshots in, just screenshots. They can be pictures now because it reads pictures, and say OCR these pictures. Write this down. Right. OCR these pictures. In other words, you want it to read the text that's in the images and tell me who my avatar is, what their pain points are, and what their joy mechanisms are. And it'll give you, is it going to be 1,000% accurate? Absolutely not. Is it 1,000% more accurate than your best guess? Chances are, yeah.
Right.
The problem is, we were talking about this earlier, a lot of people went out, created a product, were really successful. Those are some of the least likely people to be successful in their next product because they start believing that they were successful in their first product because they were really, really smart. 9 times out of 10, they just got lucky.
Right.
They just got lucky. And if you get lucky twice in a row, then they're intolerable to deal with.
Right.
Right? They think they're absolute geniuses and you're an idiot. I've built 11 companies to over $10 million. I don't know of anybody else who's ever done that. Not that I know. And it's given me a ridiculous sense of
confidence,
undeserved confidence, right?
Misguided. I'd say misguided.
Misguided confidence. And, I have a higher batting average than most, but I also have a hell of a strikeout average.
I believe AI told you today you're thinking in terms of 2019, not 2020.
I mean, the truth is the AI is smarter than us.
Yeah.
And it's the dumbest it's ever going to be. So if you think you're going to outsmart it, you're wrong.
Right.
So I think, number one, get crystal clear on who you're selling to, what motivates them, what do they value, and then figure out a way to be the only solution that provides that value, or one of very few solutions that provide that value.
And so you said you were going to give a second one.
Yeah.
And you forgot.
Yep.
That happens as we get older.
It does, doesn't it?
All right, let
me
go to the next question.
All right.
That's okay. What's one belief everyone has about scaling offers that you completely disagree with? I have mine.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Size doesn't matter, ladies. I'm not a big believer in...
Size absolutely matters.
I'm not a believer in scaling an offer to the moon. I know a lot of people are. I believe in the X times Y principle. I would rather have 10 base hit products than one gigantic product, and I'll tell you why. Most people feel and I've said this a lot, starve the ponies, feed the stallions, right? Take that one thing and ride it to the moon. You can do it that way, but there's not a lot of longevity in it. If you look at record companies, this is a really great example. Record companies make almost no money off hit records. If you've signed I don't know who's hot right now, but Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's record company doesn't make much money off Taylor Swift. Not off new records, not off new albums. They'll make a lot of money off the back. That's the reason she just paid, I forget how many hundreds of millions of dollars to buy back her back label, right? Most record companies are making all their money off songs they recorded 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. A lot of base hits. The problem is when you've got a super hot winning offer, when you've struck that iron and that thing is just a monster, boy, howdy, do people notice, right? And competition climbs on. So unless you have some defensible IP, something nobody else in the world has and can't get, which is practically nothing anymore, right? Market's going to get diluted. Supply is going to outstrip demand. I love to have lots and lots and lots of $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month under the radar products.
I know you do.
I really do. I love those. And I love things that aren't sexy. I love toilet bowl cleaner, and I love courses on how to grow earthworms for fun and profit. I love stuff like that because no kid's going to come out at MIT tomorrow and go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a new toilet bowl cleaner. Chances are they're going to try to create a toilet bowl cleaning app that cleans your toilet automatically.
And Gabe's going to buy it.
Gabe's going to buy it. Exactly. They're going to try to build something like that. And God bless them. And maybe they kill it and make $1 bajillion, and maybe I'm stupid. But when it comes to scaling offers, I really love what Disney does. If you pay a lot of attention to Disney, they release a movie for a period of time, and then they pull it off the market sometimes for 2 or 3 years and let demand build. When they were selling VHS movies.
I remember they
not so much anymore.
They would put it out in the theater, and then you couldn't buy it for a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, and then they would release it for a year or 6 months
on VHS, and
then
everybody
pull it off
would
the
run
market
to buy
for
it
another 3 or 4 years. If you just let somebody have all they can eat of your thing, eventually they're going to get tired of eating it, right? And the more you promote it and the more you advertise it, what you're doing is counterintuitive.
Offer fatigue.
Well, you're getting offer fatigue, but you're also educating a market. You know, we've got a bunch of products right now in the services space, and we basically copied the design pickle model, the bucket, all you can eat for X dollars model. And at the time, that was a hell of a model, right? But now there's 1 million copycats to that product. They're still doing okay because they were first. I guess they're doing all right. I would imagine by now their growth has stunted and they're moving downhill. And the story you'll tell yourself is, well, it doesn't matter because we're better. But it doesn't matter. If I have the best liquor store on the street and I'm making a lot of money, if 10 more liquor stores open on the same street and they're all not as good as me, but they open, they're going to take some market share. They're going to take 2%, 3%, 5% market share. And it's going to eat into my market share by 50%. Eventually, the problem is it makes you sloppy and wasteful. And the little guy that's really efficient can survive without all your infrastructure. You can't survive. I used to hang out with a bunch of Indian buddies. I haven't made fun of Indians yet, have I?
A few times.
A few times?
Yeah.
And anyway, I met this guy named Q, and he was telling me he owned hotels. Weirdly enough, an Indian guy that owned motels. They would go on a corner of 4 spots on an interstate, right, where there were 4 little motels, and they would buy one. And if the average price of the motel was $89 a night, they would make their motel $39 a night. They didn't make it $79. They just slit their throat, right? Pretty soon, they would put one of those hotels out of business, and they would buy it. And they'd make it $39 a night. Now you had 2 $39 a night. You had 2 more that weren't. I said, well, why don't they just lower their rates? He said, they can't. They've got staff and mortgages and debt that are designed for $79 a night, right? Mm-hmm. Eventually, they own them all. Then guess what?
They go up to $79.
They all go to $79 a night. And that's the mentality. And they're willing to sacrifice short-term for long-term gain. And most businesses aren't. So you really, when you go out there and educate, you're spending a lot of money in a new product, a new exciting product that takes off like a rocket. You're spending a lot of time and money educating a market. That's expensive. My old buddy, one of my mentors, that is probably dead now, you told me something forever ago. He said, I love to be the first second on a hot product. So write that shit down. When you get that, that's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
My favorite place is to be the first second on a hot product. You know the Dyson hairdryer? Mm-hmm. That thing's like $500.
$625, yeah.
$625. I'm looking the other day. I bought the knockoff one of the knockoff ones on Amazon. If you look up the knockoffs on Amazon of that hairdryer, they're collectively selling about $7 million worth of hairdryers a month on Amazon. The knockoffs. I bet they're making pretty damn great money. And they didn't have to educate the market about their cyclone technology. Dyson did all that, right? They're all clipping away at Dyson as well, because eventually the gap is just too big. The gap is too big between $79 for one just damn near as good, or $600 for the authentic one that happens to be stamped with Dyson.
For me, I really like the 4 to 6 massive offers. Logistically, operationally, it's a lot simpler and cleaner to deliver on. The cost of acquisition of customers, if you do it right, is very low because you're able to retarget them for all the other products. So we have I've just always found that those businesses are short-lived. I mean,
compared to small, super niche little businesses that nobody notices can go, like my sister's business. She sells a little consumer packaged good product for 20 years now.
Yeah.
Without really anybody screwing around in her market.
You can look at like the fitness industry, right? I'll use V-Shred and Superhuman. There's about 6 giants there, and only about 6 giants there. Yeah. And they've all been running strong since 2017, 18, 19. All of them popped up. In 2025, they're still all doing over 100 million. And all of them have a couple of supplements, a nutrition product, an actual fitness product, and a high-ticket VIP product. That model, to me, I love that model. I do love that model. I love what you're talking about, too, sure.
In that model, I love that. You have to get everything just right. So and it takes a pretty big team, right?
It doesn't. We ran $100 million fitness company. It was $500 million total, but we only ran $100 million of it because there was other businesses involved. And when we came in, operationally, they were a mess. And, you know, they had at $15 million, they had 26 people. Mm-hmm. We ran $100 million on 8 people.
Wow.
Total. A large customer service team offshore.
Yeah.
But we ran the company outside of customer service.
That's
with
crazy.
8 people.
Yeah.
And that's including my operations
I definitely could learn from that. Yeah. I don't want the stress of it.
The stress of the 60 different products. You're at the whim of manufacturing. You're at the whim of fulfillment. Costs go up so massively in different raws. So today we've price tested $69. $69 works. Tomorrow, my $8 supplement just became $18 because wasabi extract is not available, but it's costing me so much more. But I want to go back to the point of the question, and that was, what's one belief everyone has about scaling offers that I completely disagree with? And here's what I completely disagree with. More money doesn't mean more money.
Oh, hell no.
And more money means less money.
Yeah, you get a lot of people
when you're
chasing
growing,
gross.
when you're growing, you're purging, and a lot of people don't plan. And
there's a grow without making money.
You're not going to make money when you grow. Period. And if you're making money when you grow, you're growing yourself out of business, and that just is because it costs money to grow, and a lot of people don't understand how much it costs to grow.
It's very expensive.
Your traffic costs, all of these things creep up on you very, very quickly,
and you can't quit.
No, we went from 5 million to 8 million from one month to another. And oh my gosh, this is so great, right? Our traffic costs, which you pay for 30 days down the road.
Sure.
Think about that for a moment, from 5 million to 8 million. And then our customer service costs, we went from 65 agents to 110 almost overnight.
Right.
That also is 30 days down the road. None of that money is all collected
Messy,
yet.
grabby. Yeah.
And on top of all of that, people aren't watching their merchant account caps or their reserves. So your merchant account, you suddenly grow, and they haven't planned for it. Big growth does not mean more money. Big growth means a lot more bills before the money comes in, and you have to plan for that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes put parameters around how much you grow because of it. Because there is an amount. Do you know the number one reason why direct response marketing businesses over 5 million go out of business? It is not that they didn't sell. Do you know what it is?
Merchant.
Growth. They ran out of money during growth. They weren't able to pay their traffic costs. Their Amex bills came due for their Facebook, or their traffic provider came due. Their customer service came due. And on top of that, their merchant accounts went from holding 10% to 30% because they grew too quickly, and it scared them.
When I came up in retail, I never understood it, and I totally understand it now. Even companies that have a large amount of money, right? Dollar General store. I sold a Dollar General store, Walmart stores, Family Dollar, Michael's Arts and Crafts, Hobby Lobby, all those guys. I've sold every one of those big stores. And they go through growth years, basically profit years. So they'll say this year we're going to open 300 stores, and they may open 300 new stores in 1 year and then not open any more stores for 3 more years.
Yep.
So they'll perfect those stores, purge out the ones that didn't work, figure out what did work. And then they'll go back into growth mode again. They'll accumulate a lot of cash. And then
because it costs money to
grow. And then they'll go back. And you're talking about companies that do billions of dollars in revenue that they could borrow all the money you want.
Well, here's the thing that a lot of people do. Oh, well, we're going to scale.
Well, if you're growing and you got fucked up stuff in your business, it expands that fucked upness.
Right. And it isn't right. Right. You scale fucked.
Right.
Just like you scale.
You scale good.
100%. You will scale. If you have chaos, you scale chaos.
Right.
You're not scaling, and your daily fires are no longer fires.
Yeah.
They're infernos.
Yeah, I get it.
They're exactly right. But what a lot of people don't understand is, okay, it's the end of the year. Let's spend all the money.
Right.
Because I don't want to pay tax. Yeah. Let's party. Let's buy all the computers for next year. A really, really smart business person who's getting ready to scale will prepay services for scale costs. And so many times you see them like, oh, I'm going to buy computers. I'm going to buy new desks.
That's what those retailers do. They back money and squirrel away money for the next expansion.
And that's what really smart business owners who are looking to scale do as well. It's vitally important to the growth and health of your business during scale, because you will scale. You can prepay your Amex. A lot of people don't know that.
I've done that.
You can prepay your Amex. Now, if you go in, you can only prepay so much.
Yeah.
But if you call,
they'll let you do more.
They'll let you do more. They'll let you. But I'm going to spend a bunch of money next quarter. I would like to prepay Amex $30,000. Absolutely, sure.
I'll tell you something.
I would like to prepay Amex $50,000. Okay, no problem. Sure. And then you can just go ahead and send
unless you've done this, you would never know it. So a lot of growth. The part that's really you should be the most scared of with growth is that what's going to get you in the growth, you don't know. Especially if you're not growing that much before.
Right.
You don't know what's going to get you. So here's a get you nobody would ever think about in a million years. So like your example, you do 5, let's say you do $1 million this month, and then next month you do 3 million.
Oh, yay.
Yay.
Your merchant accounts, so you're going to be screwed.
Right. Accounts are going to start screaming. Supplies are going to scream, but you did 3 million. You're all excited. Everything's great. Now you realize, holy crap, cash flow wise, we're out. We're going to have to scale back. Let's cut the ad spend and let's just drop back to $1 million for a while and chill. You can't.
No.
Here's why. Let's say you got a refund percentage of 7%, which would be a pretty good.
Industry standard is 9, so
yeah.
sure.
So let's say 9. You got a refund percentage of 9%. So now you did $3 million this month. Normally, that month, your refund percentage is going to be really low because you scaled up sales so much. Next month, if you go back down to $1 million, and you have the same 9%, you're not paying on the $1 million. You're paying on the 3 that you did last month. So your refund percentage is 27%.
Right.
Same
thing with chargebacks.
Your chargeback ratio that was 3/4 of a point.
Let's say it's 1%.
It was 3/4 of a point. Now it's 2.25, and all of a sudden you got merchant problems. This is you really do have to scale growth, and you have to do it slowly. And that's the reason I don't like these big offers.
You can scale them quickly. You just have to, you have to
want the stress.
You have to know. I don't find it stressful. I find it invigorating, but you have to know how, you have to know how to plan for it. B, you have to know how to play chess.
Right.
And you have to know how to play chess very well.
Yeah, you need somebody around that's done that before, by the way, to advise you a little bit, because you're going to be like, party time, I've hit the lotto, right? And a guy like me will tell you, if you're savvy, back up the truck. I always joke, if you found a slot machine, every time you drop in a quarter, $1 falls out. But it's not quite that simple.
It's not. But when you have someone who operationally and logistically understands what levers need to be pulled, what phone calls need to be made, and what to watch. The other thing is your marketing team has a whole new set of KPIs that they need to be looking at, which is very different than maintenance.
And don't fit most marketers' mindsets.
Absolutely not. But if you have the right people that you can at least advise with on what to do, or you're working with the right people because they've scaled before, I find it extremely seamless. I know that other people don't.
Well, I'm not an ops person at all, so you know me.
Yeah.
I try to stay within
your way of doing business gives me.
What's easy? I can run $1 million business. I can run it in my sleep, right? So I can run $10 million businesses. When I start running a $10 million business, that's a unit. It's much more challenging for me.
It's the opposite for me.
Yeah.
It's the opposite for me. My sweet spot is 50 to 100.
Yeah.
Everything becomes very seamless and easy.
About 30 million, the wheels start falling off my bus.
Yeah, no. Total opposite for me. Under 10 million is a complete disaster.
But that's largely because I've learned now, I think I could do a lot better as I move forward, because I've learned now there are at least 27 steps to building a business optimally. And most of us enter at we're good at number 14. So that's where we start. We start at number 14, and we ignore the front and we ignore the end.
Because we've done it so many times.
Because we've done it so many times. The more success you have, frankly, the more dangerous you are to yourself.
Just we're talking about this morning.
Interrupt this pod to bring you this really special announcement. You need to go right now. Well, maybe do they want to go right now? Want to stop?
No, at the end. We don't want to have them stop.
Go to trainwreckshow.com. There's lots of bots there, GPT bots that do things for you, that do a lot of your work. So you don't have to work so much and drink more beer. The episode archives are over there. There's all of our resources, worksheets, workbooks. Everything that we've done that we give away is over there. Go get it right now. There's a lot of resources there. Way more resources than you get when you buy a lot of communities, I think.
And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can catch every episode as soon as it hits. We'll send you a notification.
It doesn't mean you're liking Emma, by the way, because I know that slows us down on our likes. You can just click and say, I like Perry. You don't have to like Emma. It works the same way.
All right, let's go to the last question.
Yeah.
Which I'm super excited to hear your answer. I already know what my answer is. What are the 3 most common reasons great products fail in today's marketplace?
This one I'm crystal on, right? I think if you build it, they will come is not true.
Not true.
Right. There's certain areas of the world where that is kind of true. I watched these kids the other day that built, what's the coding platform that I like so much? Not lovable. Bolt. These kids were on the thing the other day, and they're the psycho story right now. They launched, and they did $60,000 the day they launched by posting on X, look at what we've done.
Right.
And they were like, oh my God, that's great. This won't last long. The next day they did like $120,000, and then
stupid.
They were doing millions of dollars a week within a matter of a couple of weeks, right? And that's definitely the exception to the rule. Here's the big problem. You build a product. I can sell an inferior product, and I've done it. I don't like selling inferior products. I can sell an inferior product better than most people can sell their great product. I mean, ideally, you want a great product to sell. You want a product with integrity. You want a great product to sell. And I'm much more selective. But I've sold crap and I've sold cream. I've done both, right? Number one, understanding your product's positioning in the market is number one.
Not understanding.
Well, yeah.
Because it's the 3 common reasons great products fail.
Yeah. Not understanding and adjusting for your positioning in the market. Generally speaking, you can only be positioned for a few things. You've got to be a luxury brand or a discount brand. You've got to have a lot of selection or be exclusive. You've got to be expensive or you got to be cheap. You've got to be boutique, niche to a market, or you got to be broad spectrum. And there's a time for all of these things, right? But most people don't think about what their market position is. Like, where are they entering the market? If you look at companies like The Gap, I always find as an amazing company, because they own, some people don't even know this, The Gap owns Old Navy, The Gap, and Banana Republic, right? So they're targeting 3 different avatars completely. We talked about the avatar earlier. They're targeting 3 completely different avatars with 3 completely different positions, right? So they're positioning themselves just right in the market. If you look at the lingerie business, you've got Victoria's Secret, which is lingerie for everybody, right? Pretty much. And then you got like Agent Provocateur, where you go in and a negligee costs $1,600, right? It's a different animal. You can go buy purses at Target for $19.95, or you can buy them for $10,000 at Louis Vuitton. The way you position is super, super important. And most people don't even know how to begin thinking about their position. But you got to figure out what your position is before you can figure out what your unique selling proposition is.
Okay, number 2.
Image. The way that you portray the product. If you never write anything else down, I tell you, write this down. Nobody sells anything online. They only sell pictures of things online, right? There's no way to reach out and touch the thing, feel it, kinetically connect to it. So imagery is super important. I just wrote an article yesterday talking about a study, I think it was at Columbia or Harvard, that the average person makes a judgment on whether or not they're going to buy your product within 50 nanoseconds of getting to your website, right? They can't have read in 50 nanoseconds. The brain cannot process
not a word.
The word the.
Not a word.
Nothing. They can't. So copy means nothing if your image isn't there. And if you guys don't believe me, think about how many times in the last year you've clicked on a site and went, oh, that's Bobo. That's 1980s. That's, oh my God, that's terrible looking. I would never buy that thing, right? You're going to buy from this beautiful aesthetic that may or may not be a better product. We were talking about Fish and Lakiani. You know him? The guy that owns Mind Valley.
Oh, right. Of course
Yeah.
I do.
They sell personal development products. His copy's good. It's always been pretty good, but the aesthetics are insane. They're just beautiful compared to the rest of the industry. He has a great designer. If you don't believe aesthetics matter, by the way, I'll give you a little side note on this. By the way, no one I know is spending enough money on
You look
aesthetics.
at Donald Trump.
No
Nobody I know.
Nothing wrong with my hands, I promise.
No one I know.
No one I know is spending enough money on aesthetics, except for one company. OpenAI just hired the lead designer from Apple. This is the designer that designed the AirPods, that designed the iPod back in the day, designed the iPhone, I think the first 7 or 8 versions of the iPhone. He left Apple about a year and a half ago and started a design firm. This is how bad they wanted him. They just bought his design firm.
Tell him how much.
$5.3 billion.
He had a little seizure in between.
That's how important design is. They know that it's that important. Steve Jobs always paid designers the most money of anybody, not coders, designers, the people that sculpted the iMac. Jobs said his number one class that changed his life was calligraphy. He learned typography and design and eye and balance in a calligraphy class, and that's what made Apple. Apple was an inferior product, kind of always has been up until the last couple of years. PCs were always faster. They were always more powerful. They were always cheaper. But you know what? They weren't pretty. Apple computers were fucking pretty. Why does a computer need to be pretty? Because everything needs to be pretty.
Everything needs to be pretty.
Everything needs to be pretty. People really take to aesthetics. They really
Nicest, kindest women who are the best cooks and extremely accommodating will always be the underdog for a hot chick that's lazy and won't even blow you.
At the last part. Okay. So
all right. Number
number
three,
one
number
is
three.
positioning. Number 2 is image, and number 3 is messaging. And most people that are, but here's the thing: if the positioning is wrong, the aesthetics won't matter. If the aesthetics are wrong, the messaging won't matter because your audience will never get to it.
I love how everything you said is marketing and everything I'm about to say is operations and logistics.
Yeah, well, that doesn't matter. But I'm joking. But messaging, 99.999% of companies don't peel the onion. They're talking about the features of their product, but not really the benefits of their product. And even if they're talking about features and benefits, that's old school, man. That's old school. That's not enough anymore. The needle has moved a lot, right? Now we're talking about transformation an identity. When y'all remember the commercial? I'm a Mac and I'm a PC. Remember that commercial?
I do.
That was an identity commercial. The little chubby guy, the cubicle guy, I call him, in his khaki pants and his baggy blue button-down shirt that looks like the guy that carries his lunch in a lunchbox, was the PC guy. And the cool kid in the hoodie that was kind of hip and his sneakers and cool faded jeans, he was the Mac. Had very little to do with a computer. What's that have to do with a fucking computer? Nothing. Not the performance of a computer, not anything about a computer. I'm an Apple and I'm a PC. They didn't even show a computer, I don't think, in the ad. Isn't that crazy? That ad was the turning point for market share for Apple. People who used an Apple and identity, and I think today, if Steve Jobs were alive, there's a change that would have never happened. If you remember, for you guys who had Macs for years, the Apple on the Mac used to have a light in it. Mm-hmm. And when you sat anywhere, that light glowed,
shine, yeah.
showing the Apple. And that was saying, I'm cooler than you. That's exactly what that was saying. I remember going into a mastermind meeting at Yannick Silvers and sitting around, and I had a PC, and I opened up my PC, and everybody's like, yeah, old man's in the room, because all the other people are making millions of dollars in the room. They all have Macs. And I said, but this is faster. It doesn't matter, right? So what's the messaging? Are you peeling the onion back and talking to the emotional need of the person? Everyone buys this little bitty brain in the back of their head called the reptilian brain, and it's just the desire engine. This little brain back here kicks up a chemical called dopamine, and all of a sudden people buy illogically.
Right.
They make very illogical decisions. But logic is up in the front part of the brain. It's the last thing that fires. The first thing that fires back here is desire. This floods your brain with a dopamine chemical, and all of a sudden you're on drugs. Good messaging triggers drug release in the brain. Most people don't understand that. It's a physiological change. But really, positioning, imagery, and messaging. So it's not what's your order bump, what's your upsell, what's your mechanic this, what's your mechanic that. Now, one last thing I put there is technology. And if the technology's broke, you're fucked. And I've seen that happen to me and everybody I know over and over again. You get good positioning. You got lucky most of the time. You just happen to hit the market right. The imagery is good. The copy's great. And then somebody calls me up and says, man, my stuff's not working. And it's tech. A lot of times the tech is wrong. And people don't invest in the tech. So the things...
Or they invest in the tech. Tech is a lot harder.
A lot harder than people think.
A lot harder than people think. And the thing is that tech can work today.
Yeah.
And then not work tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can have a CRM that updates something or pushes something live, and all your stuff doesn't work now. All your automations go out for stupid reasons. Unless you've got somebody QCing everything every day, probably 2-3 times a day. I can find, no matter who you are, no matter what your business is, no matter what CTO you have, I can take and I can go through everything and I will find something broken or wrong. That's
costing you potentially a lot of money. And people never know it. So what they'll do is, well, this offer's not working.
Right.
Let me go back and change the copy.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how you change the copy. The one I see that people make the least investment in of time is positioning. And the people I see make the least amount of positioning in money-wise is image. And if you don't think image is important, in your mind, do this. Take the fonts and the colors from McDonald's and put them on the front of a Tiffany & Company store. Just take the McDonald's font and colors and write Tiffany & Company in it and stick it in the front of the store. Now take the Tiffany letters and the colors and stick them in front of McDonald's. Neither one would work.
Right.
They wouldn't work. But we discount imagery. We're like, oh yeah, this thing's almost done. Make me a logo.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are the three.
Here are my three.
Your three don't matter. Thanks a lot for being on the train wreck. I'm just kidding.
Here are my three, and I'll go quick because we don't have a lot of time. Not choosing a product for longevity or scale. Can I get the raws?
Yeah.
Can I get the materials? Can I get them in high quantity? Am I going to be able to continue to get them? They'll base an entire product, go and film a VSL off of something that they got super cheap somewhere because they had a limited quantity that they weren't going to get in. I've seen that happen several times, actually. It's absolutely crazy. They spent all this money to get a product, get it working, and then they can't even produce the product anymore. They have to do something new. Not building a product for longevity or for scale, having a product that just isn't going to be able to be around.
It's always the one you think it's not going to be.
Or be mass produced.
It's never the one. The one you think is going to kill it is never the one that kills it. It's usually the one you don't think is going to kill it that kills it. You're totally unprepared.
Yeah. Or you just don't think through it.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it this way, but I've worked with a lot of copywriters going product creators, right? And so they think copy's everything and nothing else really matters.
All copywriters think copy's everything, including me. And that's the dumbest thing. By the way, if you're a copywriter, you're a dipshit if you believe that.
But making sure you're picking a product that not only you're going to be able to get over and over and over again, but you're going to be able to get the raw materials at a reasonable cost, and you're going to be able to get them at scale. The next is nobody but them finds it valuable. The amount of people that I know.
You are not your customer.
The amount of people that I know, I had this gut health problem, so I made this product, or my grandmother had this ailment, and so I made this product. Doing some market research to make sure that other people are going to find your product valuable or as valuable as you do is important, because it might be a great idea in theory, but if it doesn't truly solve a pain that's worth the cost of you to deliver the product,
to people who have the money to buy it.
Right.
That's the other thing. Do the people have the money to buy the solution? The people that have the problem, people come to me all the time. Well, I'm selling credit repair. It's the worst market, in my opinion, worst market in the world. Now, there's a credit repair. I've got a friend of mine that sells credit repair to people who are just applying for mortgages that want to get a better rate and try. Right. Great business.
Right.
I've got somebody that sells credit repair to millionaires, because millionaires and business people typically have credit problems because they own so many businesses.
Right.
Great business.
Debt. They leverage debt.
Yeah. The general credit repair market
is leveraging people who have no money,
who don't pay their bills. So it just people go, yeah, but there's a lot of people there. Doesn't matter if there's a lot of them. Doesn't matter if there's a lot of them. They're all poor.
They don't have the ability to pay for your product. And then the last one is no back ender support. And so when you have multiple businesses and multiple streams of income, people like us can go and say, let's not worry about upsells, downsells, back-end support. Let's not worry about all of that. Let's see if it works.
See if the dogs eat it.
Because we have the...
Well, if the front end doesn't work, you're spending a lot of time on the back.
But if you don't have the money or the resources to implement it quickly, right? And you just, Perry Belcher does just the front end. Emma Rainville for her client do just the front end. People like Jason Fladlin do just the front end.
Be careful whose homework you cheat.
That's the thing, because these people have the money and the infrastructure to move quickly. You don't. So you may put something out there that's going to be a winning offer, and 3 months later, it's completely dead in the water because the algorithm is screwed. You've wasted tons of time, tons of money, and now you have nothing. You
wouldn't believe how many people have come to me that this is my 18th year of tripwire offers. Yeah, I tried that. That just didn't work for me. Well, no shit. It doesn't work for me either. It doesn't work for anybody. Tripwire offers don't work. Not to make money initially. They work
to acquire customers for other things.
For a reduced cost. And I couldn't get it to work at break even. You probably won't.
You're supposed to lose money on tripwire. You're supposed to lose money.
You just got to, people don't get it,
Well, they want to be at a certain level or status before they've hit a place where they can be at a certain level or status. But you don't go from working at McDonald's to buying a Mercedes in cash. Mm-hmm. You have to have a plan and a trajectory to that. And so that's my number 3. They have no back end or no support because they see these giants doing giant things and making giant type moves, like not having a back end, not having support, not having the infrastructure to deliver. And let's just launch this product and see what works. You can push a button. You have a phone where you can pick up the phone and call a person that you pay quite a bit of money every single month to, and you can say, deploy the team, everybody get to work. I need this up in 2 days, and you can do that. The average small business owner doesn't have that. Yeah. So therefore they can't use those same strategies. So be careful who you cheat off your homework.
Yeah, 100%.
Those are my 3.
Well, cool.
That
was a good episode. We didn't fight too much in there. We got to work on that.
am happy to spend another 3 minutes telling you everything that's wrong with your life.
I personally just want to thank Emma for portraying a professional image today.
I thought that a Jew wearing a Cayenne shirt.
Kanye, you mean?
Kanye.
A Cayenne shirt.
A Kanye tells you how much I know. This was a fun episode.
It was. It's a little too nice. We got to work on that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you all so much for being on the train. Hey, go to trainwreckshow.com. There's some free goodies there for you.
That GPT that Perry talked
the
about.
Avatar GPT is a really good GPT. You can just drop your competitors' products in there and say, give me the avatar on my competitors' products. A great way that I start if I'm looking at, but then I want a different position.
Right.
The more you copy off somebody else, the more you're diluting that particular pie. Create your own blue ocean.
Create your own blue ocean.
Yeah. All right. And we're out. I'll see you next time on the Trainwreck Show. Thanks, Emma.
Thank you.